Player coming at you with my first chaotic video. It's a real video for anyone who doesn't fully understand the rules of chaotic. So these are a bunch of my cards. Fire, Water, Wisdom. And Outperform Power 5 and Initiative Fire, so you're probably gonna go first. The Love Knitter, he's amazing. I'm gonna call this my Desert Raiders deck.
Ultra Rare Headmaster and Kaija.
Ooh, these brand once again. Probably my favorite pull today. Elemental. This is up YouTube. Speed Player 8 here, coming at you with another match on Trade Cards Online. What is up YouTube? Speed Player 8 here, and what I have is 288 packs of Secrets of Velocity Alliances Unraveled.
What is up YouTube? Speed Player right here, and we got part 5 of the What We Could Have Had series. So now a little disclaimer for this installment. I only have one image from the unreleased sets to show you guys, and that's at the end of the video. What I am doing for the majority of this video is with alternates and full art. And so I'll tell you what I mean by those. So by alternates, I mean instead of the image that you see on a card that was made, it could have been a different image than the one that was actually there. So I'm just going to be comparing the one that almost got used with the one that actually got used. And then by full art, what I mean is that that little square on a chaotic card of that picture that was drawn by someone, that's not the whole thing. It's basically like someone drew a big picture and then they took a frame that was smaller than the picture in its entirety and just used that. So what you're seeing on the card is not the entire thing, and so I found a few of them that were the entire thing, and I think they're actually really cool when you see the picture in its total grand scale, and so I'm going to be comparing those to what you only see on the card, and then that's kind of interesting. And then at the end you'll see the unreleased bit, and I also have a very special announcement for the end, so stick around to the end of the video. I promise you'll not be disappointed. But for now, let's get into the pieces of art I have to show you. Alrighty then, so for our first one, this is the Merlin Chieftain Avalpar. He's a card from Turn of the Tide, and he's a super rare. So the artwork from the card and so this is the alternate. This is the one that didn't get used. And while they're not that different in content, the two pictures, this one is actually lit up way more, and you'll see the side-by-side comparison in a sec. But if we just want to take in the full image, so there's the central eye, and then there's the two eyes on his left and right, and then if we look around we can see like dead troops. There's one at his feet. If you look on his left, there's a skeleton troop. If you look on his right, there's a defeated troop. So a cool card art anyways, and then now we'll look at the side-by-side comparison. And as you can see, sorry that I couldn't get the art extracted from the card. Photo editing is not easy. I'm sure some people are 1,000 times better at it, but I wish I could have taken the art from the card, made it the same size. Try that another day. Anyway, so the main difference is the lighting. On the left, you see the lighter version, which emphasizes more details, and on the right, since it's dark, your eye is mostly drawn to Avalpar himself, because he is the brightest thing in here. But you can see there are the same soldiers and troops and stuff on the left, right, and by his feet. So really the only difference is lighting, but even just changing that, going from day to night, basically changes the whole piece. And that's pretty cool, because like I never paid attention to the background with this one on the right, but on the left you notice everything. So yeah, that's just what a little change can do. On to the next one, and the next one is kind of a hate. I don't like this music personally, just because there's things I'd rather pull when I get it, but Ostinato of Oban Emra, weird name, super weird name, even for chaotic. I'm not a fan of the ability, but we're not talking about that, we're talking about the art. So if you look at this complete art, it's the Merlin, so it looks like an ocean, looks like something in a giant body of water. I guess you could say it's a squid, and it has this kind of vast scale to it when you take everything in, because I'm not sure if the part on the bottom left is either a reflection or it's it. Anyways, yeah, but you get this sense of like some like fluid squid-like thing in water, and it's a Merlin card, so that really adds to it with this whole thing. And if we compare it with the actual card, so sorry the image on the right isn't of the best quality. I'm at Google Images Mercy. But yeah, it's like this whole image and then cut down to like 60%, and it really changes it, because with the card, you're not getting the full thing. You're not appreciating everything. All you're seeing is the swirls. You're not really noticing the thing in the bottom right. You're not taking everything in. You're not really seeing that it's like supposed to be in an ocean. But when you see the full thing, you really appreciate, like, yeah, this is an object in an ocean. It's fluid. It's moving around. There's water everywhere. So like one on the right cuts down on your perspective, and then the one on the left just opens everything up and makes it seem much cooler. So this is actually one of my favorites just because how cool the one on the left looks. On to the next one, and this is an alternate that looks basically nothing like the actual card. It's the Koryak Falls Plunge Pool. Now, there are several reasons why it is well, let's just talk about why I like it. I like it because it looks way more mystical when it's this blue glow, and I don't think there's anything super special about it. But like you look around, you see all these doors, and so it's the Underworld. I don't know why there's several doors, because where could they be going? And when we see this side by side in a second, we can check. And yeah, so looking at these two, basically the only difference is the lighting, and lighting is a big deal. You got the one on the left, you know, the brown, the rock showing off. It's and when you see the overworld version of Koryak Falls Plunge Pool, it looks like it's descending into fire, but then the one on the right is like cool and blue, and so it's kind of weird how they went from such contrast for the same thing. And so again, you see on the left the red on the walls, then on the right, I'm not sure if it's even, might just even be day and night, but then that doesn't explain why the red glow is lacking in the right one. So yeah, I think personally the one on the left adds for a better Underworld card, but I really like the artwork on the right. I think it's extremely cool. So yeah, that's not too much to say about that. This next one is super weird. This is the Dread Tread, and this is the most confusing one. This is an alternate. I see why. Well, A, it was in the show, and this looks nothing like the one in the show, so it wouldn't really make much sense to use it as a card. But B, this doesn't look like a vehicle. Like I can't even tell what it is. Like where is the part moving? Oh wait. Oh, I think I see it. Okay, so you have to kind of look at it like a sled, and this is the head-on angle. But still, like it's a really weird thing. Like there's no clear edges, no front, back, or side. Like it doesn't look like the headlights of a vehicle or anything. And so when we get to look at the side by side, I think they're in the same perspective, but the one on the right looks much clearer, like what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this bulldozer type thing, and then the one on the left just looks like this hell sled made of bones. It really makes no sense. Extremely confusing. Like I can't tell where anything is on the one on the left, so I'm just totally in favor of the one on the right. Simplicity wins this one. Dread Tread is good the way it is normally presented. On to the next one. And the next one is a bit of an underused Donna card. So I want you guys to look at it. And given the way the actual card looks, there's no way from this you can guess who it is. It looks nothing like his actual card. So just let's stew on that for a second. It's obviously a Danian. This is actually Ekkud. Ekkud is Donna Harem. He appeared in the episode of the show where Kaz has to fight that the player's dad, Buzz Senior. So you see him there, and so this one appears to be red, and all red. And as you see in the side by side here, Ekkud is actually, he's green, he's gray, he's multicolored. His head is a different shape. His mandibles are different shape. He doesn't have these antennas sticking out. The one on the right has ears, like they're sideways. The one on the left has red armor on his gauntlets. So these are this and the Dread Tread are the most different between what didn't get used and what did get used. Just because just everything is different. The color scheme, the shapes, the way they look, their limbs. Yeah. So I think like no one really uses Ekku. He's a Donaparam noble, okay hive. I almost feel like but I kind of like the one on the right. So I feel like they should have used that for another creature and made that one's art instead of not using it for Ekku, because I really do like them both. Anyways, so this next one is for Noaz, and so as we see the full image here, it is actually super cool. So if you look at the flavor text on Noaz's card, it's like No one can escape his mount speed and his blade. And so in the card, as you see in the side by side right here, you see him sitting on the saddle, you see the tail. I thought that was the head. And then you see that the red claw thing on the side is actually Merlin. But again, in the card, it's not clear. But when you see this full image, everything's clear. You see this awesome looking thing that's probably a descendant of a Varanus. You see him slicing off a Merlin's claw. You see the mountain in the back. So that's just a super cool image, just to see a Mepedian riding something, because we know they ride dragons later. But yeah, so the card doesn't give you everything. There's more to the card. You can see the outline of the mouth on the left, but it always just leaves you wanting more, so it's nice to have the full image. Okay, this next one is actually an OP card, and most people don't know about it. So this one's Farkash, and this is the alternate. So he is actually a Danian, although he looks a lot like a Mepedian. He has to do with infection. And so some pluses to this art is you see on his hand, it's like a viper thing. So obviously that's, I'm not sure if he's holding like a gear or something, but he's using it to suck something up. He has to do with infecting. I don't use this. Most people don't use him. Well, actually, he appears to be in the garden if you look at the statue behind him, so that's actually pretty cool just for that kind of Easter egg factor. But yeah, so this picture is cool enough, but then you look at the side by side, just different angle, they're doing different things. The one on the, energy blast on the right, on the left, just more full perspective, sucking something up. I don't really have that much to say about this one. I'm not that familiar with those guards, so let's just move on to the next one, which is Ahunkalan's Foothold. So you see this full art, and this is actually pretty cool, because normally it's Ahunkalan in his full creature perspective. But this one he's almost like a spirit, but you still see him reaching out and wrapping up these guys in his tentacles. The purple energy is really emphasized. He's reaching out over everything. Because you can see in the background he's like a spirit, but then there are also actual tentacles coming out of Rappa's sack, which I really like, and gives kind of a mystic feel. So then when we look at the side-by-side here, you can see that the things his tentacles are doing are basically all the same. He's grabbing some sort of bird on the right, and yeah, like his eye or his mouth, whichever it is, looking in different directions. The right, you can see he's in his full creature perspective from his card with the green. On the left, it's like a mental projection in the blacks and the purple. And again, I think the one on the left is super cool. The lighting is a bit different than the one on the right. It doesn't really matter that much. They're both, a lot of these are just super cool things, and you just got to pick one over the other when you're an artist designing these. Alright, so this next one is actually a very familiar Donna music. Most people will have it, so if you don't recognize by now, this is actually Hymn of the Elements. And yeah, this looks very similar to the actual art, but when we get to the side by side, you'll see how it differs in a sec. But yeah, this kind of grandiose scale. It's symmetrical on both sides. You've got the V going up and down over the circle. Got the two loops on the side. It's a very cool, like in the show when they showed a music animation, like this is just still, but in the show, of course, everything was moving and it was alive and flowing with the music and everything. And so as we get to the side by side here, you can actually notice that the V shape made by those two lines is rotated on the right on the card, but then on the left it's vertical. So they obviously took the same image, but just rotated it to 90 degrees to the right, which is kind of cool, which is I think what they did for Song of Stasis, which is a bit weird, but nonetheless. So yeah, the Hymn of the Elements, green goes with that. Only difference, more full perspective and the rotation. And alright, so this next one, obviously Trills of Demunition. Now, while it is the same art, and of course the only difference is the closed-in perspective from the card, I actually think this one looks wildly different. Because on the card, I always thought that while it is purple and yellow, two very bright colors, it always looked kind of bland. But here, the purple pops much more. And then with the full perspective, you can see all the swirls, which the card doesn't allow. So like how much is going on here and the shape in its full, and so it's not just the swirls in the middle, there's swirls in the top right corner, on the left, on the bottom, all around in the very grand color scheme. And yeah, so as we look at the side-by-side perspective here, you can see how that differs. Because like you can even see on your computer screen right now, the one on the right, it's much paler purple in the middle, but then the one on the left is almost more of a blue. And then the perspective, sorry, because of the skewed image size, but the perspective does look a bit different. You can see more of the loops and, like, you know, how big it actually is. And so yeah, this kind of mysterious card art. Alright guys, that is it for the card art reviews for the regular cards. I do have, so there's still the Fire and Stone card art left to show you, as well as a special announcement. If you want to see those pictures for yourself, or save them, or copy and paste them, or whatever, they're on Afjack's photo bucket. That's where I found all of them. They're all archived there. So link is in the description below. You can go check that out. Now, without further ado, I give you Omen Summit. So I believe, first off, this is one of the most rich and awesome pieces I have ever seen. We get to see a dragon right there in full perspective in the center. Obviously, not a war beast. That's a dragon, and then you can see there's a small creature in front of the dragon. So the dragon rider, and again, this ties in with the fact that in the later sets, the Pedians would have had dragons and been riding dragons around everywhere. And so this is in a snowy mountain range. So I don't know if there's some kind of secret Alps in the Mithrin Desert, or if it's a place between the overworld and the Pedians, or maybe there is a mountain range and this is just near the top because you can have snow on top of a mountain, even in a desert, because that's where it gets super cold. So yeah, this is just super awesome. This was of course the one unused piece I found, so I knew I just had to make a video around it. So yeah, and again, it's just such a gigantic shame. Like, even if you watch, if you go on YouTube and find the episodes of the show, like, those have lots of views. People still love the show. People still love the cards. It's a gigantic shame that it all had to shut down, and we never got to see this stuff as an actual card. Like, who knows how awesome the ability for this would be. Like, the art enough is super cool, but then when you feel that there's an ability that would have been attached, that's also equally amazing. Alright, so that's that. Now on to our special announcement. So the other day I went on to TCL, and this is a bit of a story. So I went on to the chaotic deck part, and I was scrolling down, and then I noticed this Arctis Aggression deck here. So this is a Hikeda deck, and I recognize the username from someone else, but that's important. So I thought it was another poser who's copying Hikeda's deck, so I clicked on it. Read the first line. So note this is my first go creating a deck on this site. I used it on an old blog post of mine, I'm Hikeda. So that naturally got me very excited, because Hikeda's blog and YouTube channel and such has been active in quite a few years. So I scroll down, it's all the same cards, looking at everything, Loma, Heptad, all the same attacks for the Elementalist deck. Just kept scrolling, going through Deluge of Doom. It's really quite an awesome deck if you get a chance to look at it. I'll link in the description below. You can go check that out over on Trade Cards Online. So I was just looking at everything, making sure it's all the same. It's like, alright, fine. Then I get to then I commented that. This comment right here. I was the first one to comment on this deck. And so I was a bit skeptical, because I hadn't heard from this guy in years. And so I typed in my comment, if you could post on your blog something so that we know it's you, that'd be really cool. And then I go to the blog, and oh, look what's here. Proof of activity. So naturally, I'm super excited, because that means Hikeda's back. And then it says he's recently joined Trade Cards Online, yada yada yada. And then a bunch of people replied to this. And so Afjack says, Afjack verified this for me, that he actually talked to Hikeda on the Royal Chaotic Backup and hooked him up with the link for Trade Cards Online. And I actually went and checked. Actually, as of recording this video, I had a little conversation with him earlier this morning, so that was pretty darn cool. And then he replies. So yeah, this is just actually so cool to have him back. Hope I get a chance to do a match with him. If you don't know who I'm talking about, and you're like, who's Hikeda? Link in the description below, guys. Go check that out. Watch his videos. I promise you'll not be disappointed. That's what inspired me to do my videos. And then just going back to the vlog, same deck post. Alright guys, so that is the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy the video, please click that like button, give it a big thumbs up, This should be the final, unless some more pieces of art turn up, which I don't think they will. This should be the final installment of the What We Could Have Had series. Had an excellent time making it. By far one of my favorites. Your guys' favorites, judging from the amount of feedback I've gotten. If you have not subscribed to my channel already, click that red subscribe button below to be notified when my future videos are going to happen. There's no regular video schedule. I just upload a video whenever I can. Agata, if you're watching this or somebody wants to send this video to him, what's up, bro? Glad to have you back. Alright, guys, that's my time. I'm Speed I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Have an awesome day.